award the goal, as you would any other goal. The fact that it was deliberate makes no difference whatsoever. If the team haven't already used their full complement of substitutes, then they can bring a new player on to replace the striker. But you must still take action over this incident. After the game, you should report the player to the authorities for his behaviour and for leaving the field without permission. Welcome back to the Ref Show with Dean Mohareb and with David Hirst. We're going to kick on with the rest of the Premier League action, also the Championship, but just a small correction to start with. They threw us, or they threw me, hadn't made the late change that was made in the referee, the match officials list for Watford against Stoke. Stoke winning 1-0. It was actually Bobby Madley in the middle. Martin Atkinson was fourth official for that one. Mike Jones has been an improving referee, according to our experts, but landed in the middle of several contentious incidents at the Emirates. Arsenal 3, Bournemouth 1. Let's kick off with the penalty for 1-1. Monreal fouling Wilson. Did he foul Wilson?
When I first saw it, I've got to be honest, I thought it was a penalty. It's only when you see the replay that the attacker actually almost leans in to the defender, and I think it's, having seen the replay, I'd say it wasn't a penalty. But my first reaction was it was, to be fair to Mike Jones.
So you got some sympathy with the referee. Yeah. Later, I think he was absolutely correct with a penalty claim for hands. Montreal was again involved in that, like hits him rather than a deliberate act. People get confused about this, don't they?
Yeah, it's the only law actually where, well, it's not actually because they've redone Dogso, but handball is one of the few where you have to judge the intent of a player. And at that proximity, it's quite close. The ball's coming at him. I think it's difficult to say it's deliberate.
I think in the past there have been a few too many soft penalties given for handball. What do you think? You were a striker. You wouldn't agree.
Yeah. I claim everything, especially if I'm on penalties. Yeah. But no, hey, I've always said it. It's difficult, as Dean said there. You know, first reaction. That's the referee's situation. Yeah. He's got that first reaction. Yeah. Now, if he goes to see it on a video, on a replay, he might change his opinion. I've mentioned it before about where we go with technology. Do we start breaking it? If the decision's made, now can we have a look at it and overturn it? Yeah. And that's the way forward. That's the only way forward for me. Or we're going to have this contention.
Right. The bigger talking point, the biggest one from Arsenal Bournemouth, Alexis Sanchez, was he lucky not to see red for that challenge on Harry Arter? I
thought it was a yellow actually. Yeah, I thought it was reckless. I didn't think it was enough for a red. But it was certainly a free kick, and it was certainly at the minimum a caution. Yeah. So again, I think one of the things with Mike Jones, and it happened on Monday night on the West Brom game, it was 4-0, he missed 3 absolutely stonewall yellows for challenges. I think coaches will accept referees trying to manage technical things, but when it's a tackle where the safety of a player, you know, can be put at risk, they want to see it dealt with. And I think that's one of the things that Mike Jones in particular needs to work on, is his recognition of careless and reckless challenges.
Quite a bit of grappling missed in that game as well, according to Keith Hackett and your other experts. So we want some consistency on that, I think, really. Michael Oliver, talk about consistency. The big game he was put in charge of, Chelsea 2, Spurs 1. Praise from RefCam. I think he justified the appointment.
Yeah.
Without a doubt.
Top referee.
Nothing to add. Last week, Lee Mason overlooked 2 penalties that he should have been awarded in his game. This week he gave 2 penalties. Was he correct to do so? This was Leicester 2, Middlesbrough 2.
What do you think?
I think yes.
Well, they were both to Leicester, including a last-ditch equaliser. I've seen pundits query the first one. This was Callum Chambers' handball. Clearly handled it, but was he pushed into handling it by Wes Morgan? What do you think?
He definitely was. For me, I mean, it's an awkward one for Callum. You know, his arms do go up there. Is that from the pressure that's downforced on his shoulders, or is he just trying to sort of balance himself? I think a little bit harsh on that one, I must admit. I probably would have said the free kick the other way.
Okay, but we're not really nailing the referee to the ground on this one, because it's a call that could have been argued either way. What do you think?
What concerns me more is it's the assistant referee who's given it.
Right.
Lee Mason is in the middle of the field. He is looking directly. I had a look yesterday at the players. This is a referee who's low on confidence. He's in the right position and he's not making decisions. And for the assistant, Darren Cann, to have to come in that length of the field to help him out is worrying.
Okay, so he's not really believing, he's not having the conviction in making decisions because of what's happened previously, maybe?
Well, I mean, look, Lee Mason's been on the list a long time, and here's another referee who doesn't get the bigger games. And consistently over the past few weeks, he's making key match errors. And I just think, it's a bit like Roger East. He needs to be just taken out for a couple of weeks, looked after, and then integrated back in, because at the moment he's not refereeing well.
And as you've suggested, there are referees lower down who are refereeing well, and we'll come to one of those now. Stuart Atwell, on the way back up again. This was in the Championship. Now, we've seen some of these sorts of elbows missed higher up and charges brought by the FA retrospectively, as in Danny Drinkwater last week. But what a spot by Atwell. This was Rotherham 1, Leeds 2, Yorkshire Derby. Peter Odemwingie, straight red card for an elbow, but real time, I wouldn't have spotted it. I don't know whether you would.
I think, it comes back to the point of sort of younger referees who are watching. When the ball's in the air, there's no point watching the ball. That can't do any damage. So Stuart's focus correctly is on the players underneath it. And, for a professional footballer to commit a tackle like that I thought it was horrific. I thought it was awful. And I thought Stuart Atwell was absolutely right. Not just the fact that he sent him off, but he did it so quickly. Sometimes referees get criticised for going to the red card too quickly. But I felt he diffused a potential confrontation there by doing it so quick.
Like I say, I was watching, unlike a referee, I was watching the ball as much as anything. And you're right, I thought when he got the red out, I thought, whoa, strange one. When you see it, I mean, what is he thinking?
No, indeed, very unprofessional from the player, apart from anything else, apart from being dangerous.
And just to say,
and then pleads his innocence, by the way.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah,
pleads his innocence. What? I mean, hold your hand up, son.
Just to say as well, Alan, about Stuart Atwell, this is a referee who's been in the Premier League, has been demoted, and there's two ways you can react when you get demoted. The same for a player. You can either take your bat and ball home, or you can dig in, and this is a referee who's dug in. He's now back on the Premier League. That takes a lot of resilience, so I think that's a lot of credit to Stuart Atwell.
Indeed. Oliver Langford was also in the spotlight of live TV cameras. This was a great game. Barnsley 2, Nottingham Forest 5. Marley Watkins of the home team was sent off. Now, okay, there wasn't much actual content. It was a stamp. It was more a gesture than a really dangerous and powerful stamp, but it was spotted, and it was foolish, wasn't it?
Yeah, and it's the same, you don't have to actually even make any contact to be dismissed. You could throw a punch, completely miss, you'd still get a red card. And it's the same in this, it's a stamping action, and it was well spotted. And the thing is as well, it's right under the technical areas. So again, the referee straight in, red card. It prevents any reaction from the dugout.
Spot on decision.
Yeah.
Right. Reading 2, Bristol City 1. You contacted me. I didn't know clock this one myself. The first goal for Reading, a penalty?
Yeah, there's a two players running towards a ball, defender attackers, a tangle of legs. Attacker goes down, and the referee has awarded a penalty on the say-so of the assistant referee. And the assistant referee, I think it's David Hirst, he's very well placed, but it's a poor decision. And it's poor not just the fact that it's wrong, but it took an age to give this penalty. It didn't seem to be, to me, a penalty hits you here. You're confident, you're clear, flag goes up, you make your movement down to the corner flag. This assistant referee didn't do that. It was very awkward the way he gave it. That didn't sell it to the players. There was reaction afterwards. So just communication there could have been better. Okay,
at Molineux finally, Sheffield Wednesday winning 2-0 against Wolves. A clear penalty. Forestieri was taken out. He took full advantage from the penalty spot and taking the penalty, Forestieri, right as far forward of the spot as he could get.
11 3/4 yards, I think it was, wasn't it?
Something like that, yeah. But you can.
Yeah, you can, yeah.
As long as the ball is touching the line.
All the law says is that the ball has to be placed on the penalty mark. So as long as some of the ball is on some of the mark.
But it's not on the mark, is it?
Yeah, it is.
What about if the ball's overhanging the mark?
As long as the ball is,
so it's overhanging,
yeah.
So it doesn't have to actually touch. Yeah. Like I say,
like at corners.
At corners and things, so they do the same now.
Right. Thanks, chaps. We don't normally do book reviews on the programme. Hirst has asked me to make an exception for Jamie Vardy's book. It opens with a glowing tribute to his boyhood idol. Jamie Vardy talks about a player who could head it, shoot with both feet, score spectacular goals, and he was the player he wanted to be. Who was that player?
Don't know, but he sounds a great player, by the way.
Yeah.
I don't know. Did you pick up the name on it?
Yeah, somebody
Hirst.
Hirst, wasn't it?
That's the one. Jeff.
Seriously,
fantastic.
What a tribute.
A fantastic tribute. I saw it at the weekend, and quite a proud moment, when a player of his standard at the moment puts a piece in a book like that. I mean, I've never met the guy.
Really?
I know he was a Sheffield Wednesday fan. I'm sure he still is at heart, but, I've never met him. And, when I do meet him, I'd love to say thank you for some great words that he put in there.
You need to buy him more than one drink, I think.
I certainly will. Yeah. I mean, in fact, if he sells all the books, he can buy me one. I mean, zero,
David, Dean, thanks very much indeed. Thank you for your company. See you for another F show next week. Bye. Bye.